Enterprises. Today is February 3rd, 2025. You probably saw our premiums video this morning. Well, maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but this is, I was asked the other day, do you buy and sell just bullion? Are you just a bullion dealer, or do you deal in numismatics and collectible currency as well? And so, of course, we do buy and sell numismatics. We do buy quite a bit of currency. I don't sell a lot of it here in the shop because over the years, I used to sell quite a bit, had a pretty decent display of it. I found that people just kind of like to, see it and look at it, but not transact over it. So I removed it from the showcases and just kind of do it through back channels for the most part, but we still do buy quite a bit of it. And so this is a box I got back from PMG, which is the NGC's subsidiary that does currency grading, and I thought we would do a currency reveal here. So let's see what they sent back us. There's some good ones in here, and there's some dogs. But let's see what we got here. Literally just got this back. I saw the grade, so overall pretty happy with it. It's not that I'm the greatest grader of currency, so I really just trust them to do it. Now, when you're opening a box of currency, take your time. Because if you cut into it wrong, and you can really muck up what's in there. So just take your time. And of course, these guys do a great job of boxing this up so that it securely gets to its destination. So we gotta just take our time here. Just imagine what a razor would do to a note. So looks like we need two come down the edge here. There we go. There's one. There we go. It actually kind of folds over. They weren't messing around here, as they shouldn't. But just take your time whenever you're opening any of this up. All right. So, and you see how it comes in. See, here's what they look like. Kind of cool. So, let's see how the glare is going to work on this, Tim.
It's actually not bad.
Not bad? All right, great. All right. So, what we got here is a old 25-cent fractional obsolete note from the Monoscon store up in, what is that, Virginia? The Oyster Bank in, it's got to be Virginia, right? Yeah, Virginia. This is what they call a remainder note. You know what that means, Tim?
Negative.
All right. You see this line right here and this line right here? If this was actually a note that was used in circulation, the cashier and the bank president would have signed it before they issued it. Since it was not signed, that means it was never issued, and that's what they call a remainder note.
Interesting.
Yeah. So what does that mean? It means that technically it's uncirculated. Now, because this note is 160 years old, is that right? Not quite 160 years old. It's not really still in uncirculated condition, but you can see PMG gave it a grade of 53, which is about uncirculated. They're graded very similarly to as coins are. And you can see what the reverse looks like. You see this one got a brown stain on it there and has a pinhole. But still a pretty desirable note. This came out of a hoard that we bought here in Spring Hill from a gentleman, I believe, and he had about 50 of these. So I took out the best ones and sent them in and had them graded. All right, you see here's one that came back 35, choice very fine, still remainder note. All of these are remainder notes, and you can kind of see what these are, what they look like once they're preserved like this. And you think it took 160 years later for the thing to be properly preserved. Isn't that funny, Tim? A little piece of rice paper that long. Here's one that came back AU 55. They're 25 cents from the National Oyster Bank. How cool is that? I don't think there's any National Oyster Banks left.
I don't think so.
Yeah, pretty neat though. You see we had a whole stack of these. This came back at 58. You see, and think about a little piece of paper like that made it 160 years, and these things are frail. So there's not a lot to them. Here's another one that came back 58. This beautiful specimens. this is the kind of stuff that's really cool that we don't see a lot in the industry, but whenever we do see it, we definitely appreciate it. So, single-handedly flooding the market with fractional Oyster Bank notes here, Tim.
Yes.
Yeah. Here's the one that came back 53. So even though these are uncirculated, they just don't any longer have that, that grade just because of the age and how fragile this material is. Here's the one that came back 55. And if you're interested in these, eventually we'll get them out and available for purchase. This kind of stuff, I'll be honest with you, I think it's neat as hell, but moves very slow here in the shop. It is definitely put on the back burner. When gold's $2,800 an ounce and silver's over 30, we definitely got to focus on moving that material first. So, you see, we got another 25. Oh, here we go. This one came back choice uncirculated. So this is the best one in the lot so far. Came back as 63. So what does that mean? It means that there's no qualifiers. There's no pinholes. There's no stains. There's no little rips along the edges. This is a straight uncirculated, still perfect note. Check that out.
That's amazing.
63. Here's another one. This one is a 10-cent variety rather than a 25-cent. So it came back 63. So they did these in various denominations. I'm not sure what all the denominations they use. Some fractional currency that the states had were 1 cent, 5 cent, 10 cent, 25 cent, 50 cents, and 50 cents was the highest. So I'm not sure with this specific bank, but we have 25 cent and 10 cent notes. So another perfect one. So 63. And here's a 10-cent one that came back 55. Just perfect. Forever sealed. And you can see it's got a little bit of, it's got a pinhole and then it's got a little bit clipped there on the bottom edge there. It'll be interesting to see what these things actually sell for. This one's came back at 50. You can see it's got some brown staining on there.
I'm going to say more than 10 cents.
More than 10 cents, yes, sir. All right, and here comes another 53. So we got quite a few of these in off of this hoard. And these were just the good ones that I put aside that I thought would do well, or at least be warranted getting graded. A lot of them were in really bad shape, so they weren't worth sending in, just because they're 160 years old. And they were all remainder notes, though. So pretty neat. Here's a star note, a 1935 silver certificate star note. Came back gem uncirculated 65. Exceptional paper quality, so nothing special, but kind of a neat early American collectible, if you will. If you like star notes, here's another one, another 1935 E Series 65 EPQ. So pretty neat. Forever sealed. So pretty cool. Here's another one, another 35. Oh, these are all sequential, aren't they? Yeah, look at this. So look at the last two here. 785, 786, 787. So this must have come in a strap or something. Here's a 1928 funny back. Comes back a very fine 30, exceptional paper quality. I call it funny back because that's what it looks like. It's got the one crease down the middle, but still exceptional paper quality. That's why I sent that one in. All right, here comes some more star notes. This came back as 63, 885. So pretty nice little note there. It's off-centered though, but still came back as 63. Pretty neat. Here is a 1928D $2 bill, U.S. note. Came back a very fine 30. Pretty cool. You don't see, usually when we see these, they're just dogs, coals. Usually ugly, but not that one. Here is a 53 star note, $2 bill. Came back PMG 64 with exceptional paper quality, so that's pretty neat. What does a star mean, Tim?
That's a good question.
The star means that during the original one that didn't have the star on it was destroyed during the printing press, so they have to reissue the currency with that serial number. That serial number can't disappear. It has to be issued. So when it's a note that was destroyed during the printing press, they redo it and then they put a star in front of the serial number or by the serial number, and that represents that this was a replacement note. So that's all that means.
Interesting.
So, a little bit higher collectability to it. Here is a Federal Reserve banknote from New York. Came back PMG 30, very fine, exceptional paper quality. I kind of surprised that one didn't come back better, but as you can see, it's got some creases down in the middle. I think the thing was just literally folded in thirds and then put in a wallet for a long time, and that's why it looks so good. That's why it's still got the exceptional paper quality, but the folds obviously detract from the overall grade. So pretty neat. We got another star note here, a 53 star note, $5 silver certificate, the old blue seals. This thing is beautiful, PMG 63, choice uncirculated. So very nice, exceptional paper quality example of a $5 silver certificate, star note. There you go. This is a nice note. 1914 Federal Reserve note from the Bank of Philadelphia. Came back a PMG 40, extremely fine. And you can see, you see the threads in there, Tim? The purple and red.
Oh, yeah.
Is that coming in?
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Even better.
Even better. So, yeah. Am I keeping the glare off of these?
Now you are.
Well, okay. Was I before?
Oh, yes, but it was just every once in a while when you would angle it down.
Okay. So you see it's got a little bit of brown staining on there. So pretty cool collectible note. When they're in this grade, they should always get slabbed. All right. So now we got a 1923 silver certificate. This is the Spielman white version, so it is the most common, but uncirculated. This came back as 65, so that's a pretty decent note. See what this looks like. And that's what the reverse looks like. You can see all the threads in there, all the current ones. Now here's what's cool about this. Check this out. 801D, that's for that one. Oh, 802D, so these are sequential notes. These come in a collection. This came back as 65. Here, those two are sequential. Then we got a choice AU, where's this a choice? No, it's not a choice. It's about uncirculated 50 with exceptional paper quality. So another nice note, you see it's got a horizontal crease through there. Hopefully that's coming in pretty good. See what the reverse looks like. Still got all the beautiful threading there. So how do you know if one of these notes has been trimmed, Tim?
That's a good question.
All right. So you see, I don't know if this is going to come in or not. Right there, get that off of there. You see right there, folks, there's the threads. Is that kind of,
yep.
You see the red and blue threads. If you ever see one of these threads sticking out the edge of a note, you know that someone has artificially trimmed the note in an attempt to make it look nicer. So people do that kind of stuff. And sometimes we've had notes come in, you see the threads popping out. That just means that somebody trimmed it after it was minted. So they basically have doctored the note. So we're always on the lookout for that type of material.
Interesting.
Yeah, so is this all right. So again, this is sequential. So this one's 382D. Then we got this one that came back a 45, 383. So pretty neat. This one's a 384. You can see also sequential. So these are all uncirculated notes because if they were circulated, you would never find sequential versions of them. But because they're 100 years old and they've been stored, they're coming back XF or AU. So 384. Here's one 385. So again, came back in AU50. Here's 386, AU50. Here's 387, AU50. Here is 388. This came back extremely fine 40. Here is AU50, came back 38. This is 389, came back AU50. And here is 390, came back AU53. And then here is an oddball one, 703. This one came back choice very fine 35. So that's this is a nice crisp note. I thought, what the heck? It's got some staining obviously on it, but it's like, let's get it in and hold it. We're sending all these others out. Let's do it. So that's what collectible currency submissions look like when they come back from PMG. And so to answer someone's previous question, we deal in collectible currency all the time. We deal in numismatics all the time, and probably the biggest buyer of numismatics when you're talking about Morgans and pre-33 gold in the area. and we move a lot in, we move a lot out. So if you're ever interested, and we also buy and sell slab type coins like, you know, graded Lincoln cents and Indian head cents and Buffalo nickels. I'm not really into buying and selling bulk quantities of low grade material. That's just common date in those SKUs. But higher grade or rare semi-key date coins that have been already slabbed and graded, yep, we're your people. So if you're interested in buying or selling that, please let us know. We'll be happy to help. You guys and gals have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.